Amid all this geopolitical turmoil, one man is trying to play mediator, stepping in with some very old-fashioned diplomacy. Britain's King Charles III. First, he met Ukraine's President Zelensky, offered him some moral support after the White House showdown. Then Charles met Canada's ongoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, presumably to lend him a shoulder to cry on. Meanwhile, Charles is also reaching out to Donald Trump. The British monarch has invited Trump for an unprecedented second state visit. Charles seems desperate to be part of the action. But isn't he crossing the line? After all, the age of kings is over. So what on earth can Charles really accomplish with his antics? Our next report takes a closer look.
Sometimes it can be nice to have a mascot, a cheerleader for your team, a representation of your culture. But what happens when that mascot starts getting too involved? When it starts sitting in on important meetings and saying it's determined to play a part? This should be a cause for concern in the UK, because their antiquated mascot, their king, is stepping into the limelight, inserting himself into the wild world of geopolitics. Britain's King Charles III had two high-profile meetings over the last 2 days. On Sunday, he met with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, and yesterday he sat down with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The meeting with Zelensky was a show of support, a morale booster, after the horror of Zelensky's meeting with Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Very disrespectful to the country.
So the meeting seemed to be within the ambit of mascot duties. But the meeting with Trudeau was strange. Here's Canada's outgoing Prime Minister before the meeting.
I look forward to sitting down with His Majesty tomorrow. As always, we will discuss matters of importance to Canada and to Canadians, and I can tell you that nothing seems more important to Canadians right now than standing up for our sovereignty and our independence as a nation.
Trudeau basically said he was going to complain to Charles about the bullying by Donald Trump. As you know, Trump has been mocking Canada relentlessly, calling it the 51st American state. So it seems Trudeau decided to complain. Charles may seem like a strange person to complain to, but for some reason, even though it's 2025, he's still technically Canada's head of state. Though what he's going to do about the bullying is anyone's guess. We don't have the details of Trudeau's talks with Charles. They haven't been released, but it's safe to assume that the British monarch doesn't actually have the power to change anything. At most, he might bring it up diplomatically in the future, when he hosts Trump for an unprecedented second state visit.
So asked me to bear this letter and bring it to you.
The invitation was extended last Thursday, when British Prime Minister Keir Starmer met Trump at the White House.
This is a letter from His Majesty the King. It's an invitation for a second state visit. This is really special. This has never happened before. This is unprecedented. And I think that just symbolises the strength of the relationship between us. So this is a very special letter. I think the last state visit was a tremendous success.
It was.
His Majesty the King wants to make this even better than that. So this is truly historic, an unprecedented second state visit, and he wants to.
That was Starmer flattering Trump with the unprecedented second state visit.
A letter from the King.
Starmer was using Charles and British pomp and pageantry to impress Trump, to get into his good books. It's probably the only acceptable way to use a monarch in this day and age. But there's always the danger that the old mascots might get too excited and start thinking their ceremonial role is something bigger. Britain would do well to remind Charles otherwise.
Merci beaucoup. Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat Kelogan, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically in a month, we have viewers up to 150 million. That's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years, we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Laurent, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs, and that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model, and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.